Montreal, beautiful city, amazing food, rich culture, and one of North America's longest-running organized crime operations, the Rizzuto family. For over 50 years, they've controlled Montreal's underworld: drug trafficking, money laundering, extortion, murder. The RCMP knows about them, everyone knows about them, and they're still operating. This is how the Mafia built a safe haven in Canada and why no one can touch them. Let's start with how they got here. 1954, Nicolo Rizzuto arrives in Montreal from Sicily. He's not running from the law, he's expanding the business. Back in Sicily, the Rizzuto family was connected to the Sicilian Mafia, one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world. But Sicily was getting crowded, too much competition, too much law enforcement attention. So the family looked north, to Canada. Montreal in the 1950s was perfect for organized crime. The port was busy, lots of shipping traffic, easy to move contraband. The Italian immigrant community was large and tightly knit. And Canadian law enforcement? They were focused on street crime, not international organized crime networks. Nicolo Rizzuto saw an opportunity, and he took it. By the 1970s, the Rizzuto family controlled Montreal's construction industry, garbage collection, and drug trade. If you wanted to build in Montreal, you paid the Rizzutos. If you wanted to import cocaine, you went through the Rizzutos. They weren't flashy, they didn't make headlines, they just quietly controlled everything. Then, in the 1980s, things got violent. The New York Mafia families wanted a piece of Montreal. The Bonanno crime family, one of the 5 families, tried to muscle in. The Rizzutos didn't negotiate, they fought back. Between 1978 and 1981, 3 Bonanno captains were murdered in Montreal. Shot, execution style. The message was clear: Montreal belongs to the Rizzutos, and New York backed off. By the 1990s, the Rizzuto family was the most powerful organized crime group in Canada. Vito Rizzuto, Nicolo's son, became the boss, and he was smart. Vito didn't act like a stereotypical mobster. No flashy suits, no public appearances, no bragging. He lived in a modest house in Montreal's Cartierville neighborhood, drove a normal car, kept a low profile. But behind the scenes, he was running a multi-billion-dollar operation. Drug imports from South America, money laundering through construction companies, connections to the Sicilian Mafia, the Calabrian and 'Ndrangheta, and New York families. Vito was the CEO of organized crime in Canada. But the RCMP was watching. In 2004, Vito was arrested in connection with a 1981 triple murder in New York. He fought extradition for years, but in 2006, he was sent to the United States and sentenced to 10 years in prison. With Vito gone, Montreal's underworld exploded into chaos. Rival gangs saw an opportunity. Between 2006 and 2010, over 40 mobsters were murdered in Montreal. Bombings, shootings, bodies found in the street. Even Vito's father, Nicolo Rizzuto, was assassinated in 2010. Shot through the window of his own home by a sniper. He was 86 years old. In 2012, Vito was released from prison, and he came back to Montreal with one goal: take back control. Over the next year, the people responsible for the murders during Vito's absence started disappearing, one by one. Bodies were never found, no arrests were made, but everyone in Montreal's underworld knew Vito was back. Then, in 2013, Vito Rizzuto died. Officially, it was lung cancer. Unofficially, some people think he was poisoned. But here's the thing: the Rizzuto organization didn't die with him. Today, the Rizzuto family is still operating in Montreal. Vito's son, Leonardo Rizzuto, is believed to be running things now. But he's even more careful than his father was. No public appearances, no social media, no interviews. The RCMP knows the Rizzuto organization still exists, but proving it, that's the hard part. So why can't the RCMP shut them down? Because the Rizzutos learned from every mistake the American Mafia made. They don't leave paper trails. Everything is cash or cryptocurrency. They don't use phones. They meet in person, in public places where it's hard to surveil. They don't recruit outsiders. The organization is family-based, blood ties only. And most importantly, they don't talk. The code of silence, omerta, is absolute. If you flip, if you cooperate with police, you don't just get killed, your family gets killed. That's why even after decades of investigations, the RCMP has very few successful prosecutions against the Rizzuto organization. So, is Montreal a mafia safe haven? Yes and no. The Rizzuto family doesn't control Montreal the way they did in the 1990s. They're smaller now, more careful, but they're still there. And as long as there's money to be made in construction, in drugs, in money laundering, they'll keep operating. The Canadian government knows this. In 2019, a public inquiry found that organized crime still had significant influence over Quebec's construction industry. Billions of dollars in public infrastructure projects involve mob-connected companies, and nothing has changed. So why does this matter now? Because the Rizzuto family represents something bigger. Canada has this reputation as safe, polite, law-abiding. But organized crime thrives here precisely because of that reputation. No one expects the Mafia to operate in Canada, and that's exactly why they do. If you want more untold Canadian stories, subscribe. Next week, I'm covering a Canadian law that's technically still enforceable, and breaking it is technically treason. See you then.